You ever wonder why it is that so many people are drawn to movies like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or any of these movies like this? Why is so many people are drawn to them? What I think it actually is, it's not just the hero's adventure tale and so on. Like, that'll hold your attention for a while. But why is it that so many people are like really like focused on it and use it? I mean, why is it so meme worthy? Why is it something that people still talk about even all these years later? Why is that the case? In my opinion, it has to do with this visceral desire that most people have to have a set of friends that wouldn't betray them. And let me explain what I mean by this. In Star Wars, right, Empire Strikes Back, arguably probably the best of the entire series is Empire. And what happens? You know, Han is taken away by the bounty hunter, and his friends go after him. That doesn't happen in the real world. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but that doesn't actually happen. In fact, what happens is that your friends basically forget you. They were never your friends to begin with. This is why I don't clan, by the way, because they're like, dude, come on. You know, I could be taken off the internet right now, and you guys will remember me for about 25 seconds, and then you're on to something else. I don't take it personal. I mean, it's a reality. I understand it. See, we all have this idea that we're part of something slightly bigger, but we're not. Not anymore. See, if we decide to get together and say we want to be part of something bigger, well, that'll be called some kind of supremacy or something probably, or some kind of, clan, if you will, right? CLAN, by the way, not KLAN. So you see what I'm saying? Like that's how this works. As soon as the minority starts to try and organize, then it's no, we can't have that because you're going to compete. And I'm talking about this at the government level, right? Who do you think runs everything right now? We all know who runs everything. It's all the people who went to the island, right? And that list that's never going to come. Yeah, that's who runs everything. And as soon as normal people, okay, regardless of color, that didn't mean anything to me. Regardless of race or anything like that, or regardless of religion for that matter, they got together and they started saying, hey, we don't want to be ruled by these people anymore. You would be considered organizing. And they know how to deal with the organizers. You just go and offer a bunch of fake money. And a whole bunch of people will sell out. They know this. Because the same thing happened in the Soviet Union. It exactly happened, right? You want to find somebody, so you turn in your neighbor and you get a slightly nicer apartment. Or in today's world, you get maybe a slightly lower interest rate loan. You still owe a bunch of money and you're still a slave, but you owe maybe a tiny bit less. Yeah, so all movies that are like that, the reason why they're popular like that is because people imagine themselves that they would go and rescue their friends and unalive large swaths of what would be colloquially thought of as like the police and military. Because that's what it is. If you were to think about it, if Star Wars were real, right? And you were part of the small band of the rebellion, who would you be zapping with the lasers? I have to be careful how I say this kind of stuff, but like, who would you be doing that with? We all know. We all know. And you'd have to do it with zero compunction, meaning just like wholesale, like just lay waste to him, Vlad the Impaler style, to go get your friends back. Yeah, there's not too many people who are willing to do that, are there? So when next time you see a movie like that, whether it's Lord of the Rings or any of this stuff, right? And where the friend is taken hostage and then the next person goes to get him back and such, think about that. Think about the January 6th people, who were actually political prisoners. I don't care whether you agree or disagree with their politics. That's irrelevant. They didn't have any friends go get them. Nobody went against that. I mean, like, you think that the prison guards don't have habits? You think that the prison guards can't be found? Come on. No, nobody bothered to do any of that stuff. And A lot of it has to do with the technology shoved up everybody's ass. That's true. It's how they got Luigi. I'm convinced of that, by the way. Just, I mean, like this, like you just keep scrolling. You don't need to listen to this shit anymore. But I'm going to give you my opinion on how they got him. I think it was reverse digital fingerprint. Reverse digital fingerprint means this: the algorithms get used to you behaving a certain way on all these electronic devices and in your car and on, because your car is burning something like 80 gigs of data per month, right? All of that data gets stored, and then when you change something in your life, they just look for who changed something. And who disappeared 2 weeks ago, and they're no longer doing anything. Like, what's up with that? They start looking for that, and they start looking for, you just crunch the data. That's all it is. And then before you know it, you find like, oh, well, you know, that's how you do it. And you start looking for who's not there. Remember we talked about this a while ago? Look for what's not there, not necessarily what's there, but what isn't there. Yeah, that's how it works. So, you know, you don't have to worry about it. You know, I mean, your digital fingerprint is going to be the same as it always is, because until you change things up a whole bunch and and of course enough people have to do it all at one time, and that's not going to happen because, you know, people are just, that's how they are. Particularly Americans are pretty well taken care of for the most part. You can be poor all you want, you can complain all you want, and you can complain on the internet all you want, and they're okay with that. As soon as you start to want to do something about it, oh, see? So, you know, but I mean, we have people now that, like, if your neighbor, you know, gets hauled away by some group of stormtroopers, you know, again, you have to read between the lines because of the way I have to say this stuff. So don't be fucking stupid in my comments section going on about I'm a Star Wars fanatic, because I'm really not. I know the movies because I'm a Gen Xer and I grew up with this shit, but I have to use the analogy. So, you know, we could say Minecraft or something if you want, whatever you want. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, how many of you went out there and said, hold on a second here? How many of you went out there armed and surrounded them from the back and said, hey, what's this all about? Let's have our trial right now. No, none of this trial 9,000 years from later. No. We're going to have trial right now. And if you guys won't stand down, you know, we're going to like correct the problem that the Bundy Ranch had. Because the Bundy Ranch, of course, the problem was they had an opportunity to send a very clear message, and unfortunately, nobody did it. You know, because there's two laws on the planet: physics and conscience. And a bunch of you out there still are like stuck in this idea of like, well, am I the good guy or the bad guy? Stop with that shit. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad anymore. It really doesn't. Look at who runs shit right now. Are you telling me, did you go to the island? Probably not. That means you're at least not that. Take good and bad out of the equation altogether. You're at least not that, right? Your conscience is clean.